this morning, click the screen. DSP sounded different, yeah, shifted dream.
Or that streaming fort thing is screwed my mic up. My mic sounds okay. Alright, problem I'm having is this. The camera's not working. And I don't know why. Hold on. What happened? I have no clue. Okay, that's not good, because if I can't get this camera working, we will have no face cam today. So hold on, here we go again, everyone. I can't even do my regular show. I can't do my regular show. Because we gotta have nonsense, right? Alright. No, I'm not okay, Piper. I just wanted to start the show today. No, really. I just wanted to start the show, and the camera won't even turn on now, and I didn't do a Windows update, I didn't change anything, so it makes no sense that it didn't turn on. It turned on blue, then it turned off. Okay, it's working. Can't. Dude, this camera gives me a heart attack every day. Like, it doesn't want to work. Some days it'll work for like 3-4 days in a row, and all of a sudden it'll stop working. So why did I have to unplug and replug it in to get it to work? I have no idea, but now it's working again. Alright, well, okay, so that's working there. Close this now. Let's test it now. Hold on, I think I have to unselect and reselect it again, as it is working now. But yeah, okay, It wouldn't be here we go. It wouldn't be a normal day here on stream if something wasn't working, right? Can you imagine if one of these days I turned on my stream and everything was working? You believe that? Or, I guess we can start the show now, that's what I mean, like, I was just about to start and it's not working. Alright, well, let's get back to usual. Let's actually do the formal beginning now. Here we go. What is going on, everyone? On today's show, we got a big disaster to talk about. That's right, one of the biggest flops ever, one of the most unpredictable, unexpected things that was ever have gone down in history happened last night. That's right, the Elden Ring network test was a huge flop, and we're going to talk all about it on today's show, and maybe a few other things. So, sit back and relax. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for my week-ending edition of the Level 1 podcast. Alrighty, everybody, what is going on? It is Friday, the 14th of February, 2025. Some people call today Valentine's Day. Other people call today Bloody Friday. For some people, it's just a normal day, I guess. For others, it's a day of romance. Today will be interesting and likely will go down in history for various different reasons. But, I hope that you're all doing well. I hope you're ready for a good show. Today we got a few things to talk about. I'm not sure if you're aware of what they are. Anyway, well, I think that I wasted enough time. It's been 23 minutes. Can you believe? I'm pretty good at this. I'm pretty good at stalling, right? I think I am. That was pretty good. It was 23 minutes. I didn't even really talk about what everyone wants to hear about yet. I kept you all in suspense. How many viewers do we have? Let's see. Or 400 viewers here on my stream on YouTube. What do we got over on Kick? Wait a minute. Over 100 viewers on Kick. I never have over 100 viewers on Kick. What is wrong with you? What are you doing? Why are you here? Really? I never have over 100 viewers on Kick. Well, how about this? If you want me to start talking about last night, we're going to have to get some support. Ha ha! Just going to have to get some support go, right? You understand? So here's the thing. Last night, there's a lot of criticism being thrown around about me asking for support. So if you want me to start talking about that criticism, you're just going to have to support the stream. We're going to have to get some super chats. We're going to have to get some memberships. We're going to have to get some subs right now. In fact, why doesn't someone drop a 50 tip right now? Let's do it. What's going on? Oh, what are you doing? 2 tips. That's all I got so far today. 2 tips, $4. But time not worth more than $4 to you. You're all here. You're all here for the show. Why aren't you supporting the show? Oh my God. I'm thirsty. Hold on. That's right. Giga Chattiest, is it, or Giga Chattist? Is it Giga? Giga Chattist said, we're going to need 100 sub-bomb to continue on with the show today. I think I'm right. Seriously, maybe we should just wait. Maybe we should just wait for some contributions. Kenny D did a $5 Canadian super chat and says, I'm the biggest tip. Well, you're not, because that's not a tip. That's a super chat. You are the biggest super chat. You're the only super chat. For sure. But let's get that up on the leaderboard here. I always forget the conversion rate of Canadian. Let me check it again. I know it's kind of silly to have to do this, but I do want to count stuff properly. So it's CA to USD. Canadian, it's 71 cents. So your $5 Canadian is $3.53. I was actually going to say it was around $3.33, and I actually was pretty close. Kenny D, $3.53. That gets us up to, not 4. I don't know why I have 45. That's incorrect. It was 4. That'll be 7. We're at $7 of support so far today. All right, so how about we get it to 50, and then when we get to 50, I'll start talking about last night's show. How about that? Yes. Oh, this is great. Yeah, absolutely. Someone just said, can we send a doctor to your house to test you for autism? Yes. Let's just do it. Let's have everyone come. We'll have people coming in my doors, like a rotating. What I'm going to do, I'm going to change my front door to be one of those rotating store front doors, when you see like a department store or a train station, you just keeps rotating. We're going to have doctors coming in. We're going to have, lie detector test people coming in. We're going to have, everyone's going to be coming in doing tests and things. It's going to be great. We're going to have cameras going constantly. We're going to have teams of people here filming and streaming. It's going to be absolutely amazing. This is obviously what everyone wants, right? It's a perfect idea. Let's just get it going right now. Yeah, imagine the support. Now, here's the truth, Lord Lunch Meat. All right, because I was talking with various people about stuff this morning, because we're going to get to the subject now, okay? Here's the deal. With meat, drama doesn't sell. You understand? Like, when drama happens regarding meat, okay, there's a whole bunch of people who benefit, okay? Here's who benefits with drama, all right? My detractors, who all get to make content, who all get to stream, who all get to make a zillion videos off of everything, hyper-focusing on every little piece, and it blows up. You know what I'm saying? So they always make out, right? The React communities, not my detractors, but the actual React communities, they make out because they get to analyze the drama I'm involved in, but then they get to analyze my detractors and how they get involved in it. Like the React communities eat well when I get involved in drama, right? But the one person that doesn't benefit out of any of it is me and my community. It's not really one person. I should say the group of people that don't benefit from it is me and my community because we don't care. Right? Like every single day, we come in here, into DSP gaming or onto the Kick channel, right? And we sit down and we relax and we have fun conversations about games, about life, about all kinds of stuff, correct? And we play games together and I give you my reactions to games. You guys, tremendous amount of interaction and help when I play games these days. And I love that. I love that community that we have built around gaming. It's a really nice thing, right? And we just have a great time together with it, right? But then whenever drama tries to rear its ugly head, and whenever drama tries to interject itself, it's like a guy runs it with a crowbar, should have wedged it in there, right? And like, well, it doesn't really fit into the formula. And this is the thing, like, if I 1,000,000% changed who I was on the internet, and I said, I'm going to be a drama guy now. All I'm going to do is react into drama content constantly, right? Like many people do it and find tons of success on, then this kind of stuff would benefit me. Because today, I'd be like, that's it. Today, all we're going to do is we're going to talk about last night, and all we're going to do is we're going to spend an entire day milking this and doing content on it and yelling and screaming and hollering and being upset. But I'm too old for that shit. I'm 42 years old. I'm going to be 43 soon, right? I like what I do when I hang out with you guys, okay? And I don't like having constant being at each other's throats and shit. If anything, what has been the most successful content in the last 6 to 8 months that I've made? Think about it. It's been me having positive interactions with guys like Kino Casino, being on their show and having a great talk, a great interview, right? Shooting the shit and talking about other people drama, right? But not me. Also doing the co-op react on Rich. That was great content, right? What about the Keemstar interview, where everyone thought it was going to be drama and ended up being one of the best conversations I've probably ever had on the internet, right? It was actually genuinely a great time. I think that kind of content is where I shine and where I have value, all right? For me and my community, I should say. But the other kind of content is content where other people all benefit, but not me or my community. And the thing is, as much as I want everyone on this planet to have a good life and get by and be happy, it shouldn't be at the expense of others. And that's a real problem here, all right? Because what people keep trying to pull me into in this situation, these situations, I should say, is drama that helps everybody else out, but then I end up being the one that gets stomped on. Right? I'm the one that ends up taking ball. I'm the one who ends up taking the shot. And then it's like, well, here we go back again, right? Why are we going again to this again? And so last night was absolutely positively not what I expected. All right. And I just want to preface this by saying I apologize to everyone out there. If I had known for a moment that that's what it was going to be, you know that I wouldn't have been it, right? I think everyone knows that after the side scroller sting 2 years ago, I made it abundantly clear that I don't want any of this kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just bored of it and tired of it. I have no interest in it. I'm not at a part of my life where I feel like I have to answer to anyone, where I feel like I owe anyone anything. Okay, I've done my time on the firing line for over a decade, right? And this is all shit that's been just tread over and over and over and over and over. It's like, you got the dead horse, so you beat the dead horse, and the dead horse is even extra dead, but you keep beating the dead horse. So now the horse has become a big gelatinous pile of, like, gore because you beat it so bad. It's disgusting. But you keep beating the horse. So now the horse is like dust, but you keep beating the horse. It's like, how long can you beat the horse? Right? It would be one thing if there was actually stuff to talk about in these drama communities about me that was like new or pertinent to something going on today. What happened last night was I go on a podcast expecting that it's going to be a certain kind of show. In fact, I read to you just the other day exactly what I was told it was going to be. I guess I should reiterate, right, what I was told it was going to be, because I just want to clear the air here that, again, This isn't something that I would have partaked in or participated in. Let's see. Here you go. Word for word. I'm going to read from the message that I originally received from Steve, the guy who performed the interview last night on the Truth Show. Okay, this is word for word what he said to me. Phil, I promise you a fun and cathartic interview, a journey through your history and highs and yes lows, but I'm going to be fair and highlight your survivor attitude and continued success despite all of your trolls and detractors. I watch every deep dive history about you. I think most of it is petty, but yes, some of it is funny. It's easy to laugh at someone from the sidelines. Most people have no idea what it took for you to survive the journey. That's the story I hope to tell in the interview. I just read you word for word the pitch, right? Does that sound like what we did last night? At all? In any way, shape, or form? I didn't make that up. I didn't write that myself. That doesn't even sound like how I speak, does it? That's word for word what I was told it was going to be, right? And so I go on the show, and by the way, for the record, I was outright told this would be a 90-minute appearance. Okay, because I explained that, I have a schedule and I had to spend time with my wife, and sadly with that side scrollers interview, it was way too long. And, if we keep it concise, it'll be better. And I even pitched, I said, hey, listen to this. If I show up on your show and we do this first interview for 90 minutes and it goes well, I would be happy to maybe make some return appearances as well. That doesn't have to be an idiot, but, that'll be kind of a cool thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it was pitched to me, word for word. Okay? So if you saw the show last night, that's absolutely not what happened at all. Okay? Here's what happened. I showed up and essentially we talked casually for like maybe 15 minutes about my history and my past. And then immediately, Steve starts going into the same drama shit that Kiwi Farms and my detractors have focused on, hyper-focused on, hint, hint, for the last 5 years. It's the stuff that they never move past. It's the stuff that no one cares about in my community. No one cares about it who watches me and likes me. The only people who care about it are people who want to make drama content and make money on it. That's it. Because it doesn't affect me today. It has nothing to do with me today at all. I moved past this stuff years ago. Okay? I did a 12-hour react June the King documentary back in August. I literally addressed all of this drama. All of it. Okay? And it's done. It's in the past. Today, who I am as a person and a creator is not representative, okay, of who I was back then, when I was financially distraught, when I was irresponsible, when I was stupid. I look back and now it's stuff that I said and did on a stream, and my behavior, the way that I spent money, and I'm embarrassed because I was a dunce. And because I was basically out of control in many different ways, okay? But now things are different, right? If anything, if you haven't noticed, the last couple of years have been a wake-up call. It's been a situation now where I've been able to change for the better. I feel like I'm making better content. I think more people like me now than previously did, because I used to actually just be 100% hating. And now, at the very least, I do have people who actually kind of get me now because they gave me a chance, right? And it's certainly not the biggest audience, but it's still an audience, okay? And I'm happy with that, and I've accepted that, right? Listen, I'm never going to be able to make up for the things I did in the past. All I can do is be a better person moving forward in the future, right? You can't change what's happened in the past. All you can say is, hey, sorry, let's move on, okay? But sadly, these people don't want that. You understand? They don't want to move on. They don't want to move to the future. They don't want to accept change. Instead, they go ahead and they say, let's just keep focusing on the past because that's what is drama, and that's what gets us the views, and that's what's going to get us attention so we can make bank. Because the truth of the matter is that these people weren't able to monetize their content, they wouldn't bother with it. I'm going to repeat what I just said. If these people weren't able to monetize their content, they wouldn't bother with it. It would move on to something else. Because that's all it is. It's grift. It's grand grift. It's a way to make the bag, right? By any means necessary. Doesn't matter who we hurt or who we trample on. And I think what actually has happened is that over the years, okay? Really, over the years, I've become so resilient. Like, my story is a story of resiliency and a story of being a survivor, despite the fact that so many have taken the shot at me, that I'm still here standing and I'm still making content and I'm still successful. That I think people think, you know what? Well, I can take my shot at Phil now. I'll make my bank and Phil'll still be here tomorrow, so it's all good. But he gets to the point where it feels like it's gone too far. And I think that last night was definitely that. Like, seriously. To give some perspective here, all right? There's a difference between I agreed to an interview. And I said we could do this, and we could talk about this, and we could have these topics, and we could do this and that, right? There's a difference between that, which is what the Side Scrollers interview was, and what happened last night with the Side Scrollers interview. All right? They tried so hard to get me to fess up to stuff because they wanted to be popular and notable. At that point, they were not. There was nothing about that show that was getting any views. They were desperate. They were actually trying to get guests from all over the internet. They were getting YouTubers and stuff on the show, and no one cared. They weren't getting views. It wasn't working. So for me, they saw me as their big break, and their idea was to try to get me to essentially fess up to things like playing WWE champion, okay? And if they got that big confession on their podcast, then everyone was going to be talking about them, and they were going to use that to propel themselves to popularity and success on the internet. It didn't happen. So what ended up happening was they turned that into a way to bilk my detractors for weeks to months on end. Right? They had a series of shows all about me or spin-off shows. Like, I'm totally sure they would have had an entire show about mobile gaming and addiction if I hadn't been on the show, right? It's obvious that's where all that came from. And so it was pretty bad the way that they went about it. Like I said, initially I had no problem at all with the interview. It was everything that came after that I had problem with. All right? But that's on me. I accepted it, right? That was my fault. In this case, what happened last night was not my fault. You heard, I read word for word what I was told that was going to be. Okay? And that is absolutely positively not what that show was at all. That was about 3 hours of regurgitating rap that was copy-pasted off a key, you know, because here's the thing. Steve, the guy from True Seeker's show, set it up as, oh, I did all this research, and I did all this, and here's what I discovered. Steve did not discover anything. Literally every single thing that he brought up was actually copy-pasted from Kiwi Farms. If anything, if you are someone who's on Kiwi Farms, and you were involved with all of that stuff like 4 or 5 years ago, I'd be pretty pissed. Is he took credit for all of your shit. Like, he literally, line for line, see, I did this, I did this, I did this. No, he didn't. No, you didn't. That's other people's work that you stole. And you passed it off as your own. There was no originality there. He didn't do anything original in anything that he said. These are all accusations that have already been talked about. Okay? It's ridiculously stupid. All right, that he would even act like any of that was work. There was no work to be had. It was him reading Kiwi Farms and watching videos and then copy-pasting stuff, okay? And literally absolutely nothing whatsoever was presented or discussed. This is all stuff that's been out there for years and years and years. Say, oh, I got you with this one. I got you with this. Like, yeah, this has already been out there. I already even talked about this during the June King document. What are you talking about? No, I don't think you've ever talked about. Yeah, I did. I did. But, I mean, the stuff that's on Kiwi Farms, all right, it's put into my chat like hours after. Like, no lies. What about when you got a haircut? Yeah, they were posting that in my chat. They were super chatting it like 5 years ago. So This is all old shit. It's so boring. See, that's ultimately the problem, is that it's just so boring because it's nothing interesting. If it were interesting, then people would care. But my viewers don't care. They don't. No one wants to hear about this dumb shit. People are coming here to hang out and have a good time with games. No one's interested in this, at least in my community, again, right? My community doesn't care about this stuff at all. All we want to do is hang out and have a good time playing games and all that stuff that he really was trying to take me to task for. Like, for example, oh, will you beg your viewers for money, right? So literally every content creator who asks for contributions is a beggar. Fine, I guess you could spin it like that if you want to, alright? But the difference between me today and me 5 years ago is that 5 years ago, I was in a really bad way. I was literally living stream to stream in some cases. That if I didn't have a good stream, I wasn't going to be able to pay bills that week, okay? So I would say that on stream. Now, that's pretty bad. I look back now and I say, yeah, that's embarrassing, that's stupid, but that was the situation I was in. I needed to do that to get by. Today, can I ask an honest question? All right? Does anyone who's watching me right now, at all, on my stream, on a restream, anywhere on the internet watching this on demand, do you think I'm destitute? I'm sitting here in a room surrounded by expensive technology. I have a ridiculously expensive RGB display going off behind me, on a wall covered in it, the most expensive soundproofing foam that you can probably buy because it's over the top Elgato branded. You know what I'm saying? I've got a freaking frame behind me that's playing animations. You know what I'm saying? Does a single one of you think that I'm destitute and that I desperately, desperately need you to contribute to me today or else I can't eat? Like, and that's actually what Steve was saying on the show. And I'm like, what are you talking about? This doesn't happen. No, oh, we have evidence. Okay, present your evidence. You don't have any evidence. You have copy-paste Kiwi Farm stuff. It's all you had. The same shit everyone already knows and doesn't care about. And whenever you would bring something out, I said, do you have anything from today? Do you have anything to talk about today? Oh, what about the Arby's? What about it? We were joking that we should do Arby's. I want to do it right away. Let's do it on a day when my wife doesn't have to cook, right? But I'm not going to starve if I don't eat Arby's. Ever said I was going to starve if I don't eat Arby's, or if I did, it was a joke. No one's bullying. What are you talking about? You would actually have to be a moron to think that. So there's two answers in place. Either Steve's agenda was to present things that he stole from another site as his own, to act like he did work to look like he's some kind of a big-brained guy, okay? So that he could present a case to make me look bad and try to put me into a bad situation so that he knows that he benefits no matter what, okay? Or the other scenario is he's a complete fucking moron. So which is it? Is it that he's a bad guy who tried to fool me into a situation, or he's a moron? It's one of the two. You know what I mean? So, it's just so stupid. So I guess we should address a few things directly. All right. So, on this show, he's basically just presenting all this stuff about bank leaks and the bankruptcy and all of that. And I'm like, there's nothing new here. Like, there's nothing for me to answer. My answers aren't going to change. So he tried to present it that, we're going to have you do a lie detector test, right? And if you do this lie detector test, it'll prove your innocence. I said, no, well, what do you mean? Lie detectors aren't submissible as evidence for anything. They can be tricked. They can be fooled. There's been people who their name is Bill, and they sit down and they put on the lie detector test, and they say your first name, Bill, and it says they lied. Lie detector test doesn't mean anything at all. It's a waste of time for everyone involved. What it is, it's a grand spectacle. Right? It's a grand spectacle because everyone, what's it going to say? It's good drama, right? But who's it drama for? It doesn't prove innocence. It doesn't prove guilt. But whatever happens, people are going to say drama, 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 and that's all they care about, right? So who would benefit from that? The people who want to make drama content. My detractors, apparently Steve, not me. Anyone in my community, we don't care about this stuff, right? We don't. You guys don't care. It's what you're not here for this. We're here to chill. We're here to play games or have a good time together. And by the way, contributions are coming in and you guys know I'm going to give you shout outs, right? I just want to talk about this before we get to the shout outs. I do want to have a good discussion with you guys about what happened yet last night. Before I will absolutely get to all their contributions. I promise you that. Okay. But you notice let's do a lie detector. Why? It proves nothing. It won't prove my innocence. The only one it helps is detractors and you. And will make it benefit me. Oh, so you want me to pay you to do it? Well, are you going to make it benefit me in any way? Like in life, do we all just walk around doing things that don't do anything for us? Is that what we do? Is that how we conduct ourselves? I was under the impression that we are finite beings who need to do things for survival. So in a day, what do? You get up and you eat. Why do you eat? Because you need to eat to survive. Now, how do you eat? Well, you have to do work to have money to buy the things you eat, right? Do you know what I mean? Like sadly, we're slaves to this existence that we have to do things for sustenance and safety and to live, right? So we just walk on, just do things just for the sake of doing them for no reason at all. You know, why would I, like, who do you want? Who should I, do things to benefit today while ignoring all of my own personal needs, right? So it's like, if you're going to present something to me, you have to at least make it enticing. The problem with Steve is he didn't present anything enticing. He was just like, well, you better do it, because if you don't, you look guilty. Problem is, I've had people saying that I'm guilty of heinous things for over a decade. I don't care. Get it? Like, he barked up the wrong tree. Maybe he could have found someone else who would have cared. I'm the last person on earth to care about what people say about me at all. There was nothing there was presented as this will actually clear your name. This will actually help you at all. Because as I said on that show, every single time that something happens and I'm accused of something, okay? If I present evidence, say, hey, you're wrong, the goalpost is moved. It's another thing instead. Well, wait a minute, but we just said that, oh, forget about that. Let's talk about this next thing. Wait, what do you mean? And actually, that's exactly what happened on the interview last night. The interview was a shit show. Why? Because Steve is probably the worst interview I've ever seen. He would present a case, like he'd say, so here's something you're accused of, right? And here's evidence of said thing. Okay? I would say, all right, allow me to respond. And I'd start to respond, and then he'd yell over me. And then he'd move on to something else. All right, well, wait a minute. I didn't even get to do my initial response. It yelled over me so no one could hear what I was saying. And then you moved on to another topic. That's not an interview. An interview requires back and forth. An interview actually requires to have two sides coming together. You know what I'm saying? And that didn't happen. It was literally yelling and screaming. And that's not a good interview at all. All right? It's just a shouting match at someone because you want to get attention for yourself. And that's exactly what it was last night. It was 3 hours of how can I basically become the darling of Phil's detractors. Maybe if I just yell at Phil for 3 hours and present the same evidence that's been presented on Kiwi Farms for 3 hours, people will care. I don't know. Maybe that's what his strategy was. And as predictable, as you would always expect, my detractor showed up and gave the guy about $1,000. I think about $500 is super chats, and then he got a whole bunch of subs on King. So he probably made about $1,000, doing that show. Now, if he continues down that road and he keeps making detractor content and milking, he probably will make some more. Like he could go the route that side scrollers did for a bit. All right. And he'll probably get a little bit of popularity and a little bit of notoriety, doing that. But the problem is it doesn't last. It's fleeting. I mean, look what happened with side scrollers. They tried real hard and then they failed. And then they had to completely change what their show was from the ground up. They're called side scrollers today and they have nothing to do with side scrollers. It's literally a political show, a right-wing grifter show. Has nothing to do with their original concept. They lost their entire original cast. They all quit or moved on, and they retooled the show to be something completely different because Your idea just didn't work. The grift of cheating on DSP will never be a full-time successful grift. Even for those who try to do it, they have to lie and make shit up. It doesn't work because it's old. It's old school news. You know what I'm saying? It's not something new or interesting or original, especially again, because there's nothing at all new going on. If you come to my streams, you hang out, you have a good time, you have a laugh, you know that when I'm saying, hey, support my content, you know that if I'm being, let's hit the goal, come on, let's get some super chats, I gotta eat Arby's tomorrow, you know it's all in good fun. Everyone knows this. No one's stupid, right? He actually said on the show last night, he goes, so what you're doing is you're fooling mentally deficient people into contributing. So, the only people who contribute to me are mentally deficient, apparently. Not one of them has a brain in their head. He actually believes, he literally believes, that there are people who have actually gone into bankruptcy because of the amount that they have supported me. I mean, who's the crazier person here, right? You actually believe that someone actually gave me their entire life's fortune and they went into bankruptcy because of me? I mean, where do you even get this stuff? And how would you ever even corroborate that with a fake? You can't, like, the stuff that you say is so ludicrous and stupid, right? Like, number one, like any content creator would ever know who it is that's contributing, what their life situation is, why would it ever be a creator's responsibility to even know who's contributing or what, it's not. What I would say is any of you out there who watch my content, okay, I would hope that if you contribute to me, that you're taking care of yourself first, because that's what's more important. You and yours and your family is more important than sending me a contribution. I want you to understand that, all right? So, as long as you understand that and you're willingly giving, I don't see what the problem is. I can't stop you from contributing. I don't know why you're contributing or what your situation is. It's up to you. And it always has been and it always will be. Why would I have to even say that, right? I don't know, but apparently you have to, because somehow I'm responsible if people, I guess it's what they say, the pignosis, right? I'm some kind of a crazy mastermind who can fool all of you into contributing. Because it's funny when Steve says stuff like, I think you're a tremendously stupid person, but then also at the same time, I'm a mastermind who's fooling people on the internet to give me their money every day. So which is it? Right? Like, what are you talking about, right? Anyway. It was a whole 2.5 hours of nothing. It really was. And the thing was, again, he tried every possible way to trap me, right? So first I go on there. He says it's going to be 90 minutes. He outright told me it would be 90 minutes. Then he said it would be 2 hours. Then we're going past 2 hours. And I'm like, well, you're gone past the time that I said I was going to give you. Oh, so you're running? You're going to quit now? You're going to rage quit? You're going to... Wait, so now I'm trapped and I have to stick here and just take more abuse from you just because you say I'm quitting, but we already passed the agreed time, right? And if anything, there's a difference between, again, having a scheduled interview and we're the side scrollers interview thing, that's on me. This interview the whole thing was a scam and a shit show from the beginning. He lied about the premise of what it was. Okay. From the get-go. Was it 100% a lie? He fooled me by saying it was one thing that it wasn't. He lied about the time frame. He lied about the content of how he was going to present it, right? Then he's trying to say, oh, this will benefit you if you do a lie detector test. Wouldn't, every moment. And the other one final thing, because I don't want to talk about this all day. I really don't. Is that when I finally have a chance to give like an answer, right? I give my answer and then, either rush to the next thing because you gave a good answer or, well, let's find a way to just get rid of it. I'll give you the perfect example. Okay. They tried to say that I lied about talking to a police officer. Okay, because what happened was at one point, many years ago, I received a very threatening email. It was pretty scary, actually. The email was that someone was threatening me and my family, saying that they were going to come here and murder me with a weapon. Okay, So after getting this email, I did contact the police, and I actually publicly talked about it and said this kind of thing should never happen. This is just scary, right? There's a difference between you don't like someone or you're going to murder them and their family. And I filed an actual, lawsuit, excuse me. I filed a police report for it. I called the police, talked to them about it, filed the report, etc., etc. All right? So when I called, I spoke to a woman. All right. And this woman whose all of her information I still have. Okay. I had a conversation with her about the whole thing. But then as an aside to that, at that same time that I had gotten this threatening email, I was actually getting, no exaggeration, hundreds to thousands of dollars in chargebacks. If you remember years ago, there were guys visiting Tutankhamun, as well as others who had been giving me lots of contributions, but then they were all attempting to charge them back after the fact, okay? And it's one thing if it's like $20. It's another thing if it's thousands of dollars and it's dozens upon dozens upon dozens of transactions. Okay? So I said at that point to the officer, I said, this is a complete aside. It has nothing to do with me getting the email. That's a threat. Okay? What could we do in regards to this? Because I have all this evidence. I have all this transaction history of people sending me contributions, but then committing fraud after the fact, right? And I always file disputing cases with PayPal, but they're not going to legally go after anyone, unless it's with their institution. Like, for example, PayPal probably would never go after anyone. It would be a bank. Like, let's say if you lied to your bank and committed a chargeback, your bank would investigate you if you committed fraud, because that's a crime. Okay? So I said to the officer, is there anything that I can do? Because these are literal crimes being committed against me. Every single time someone does a chargeback, it's fraud. And the officer said to me, there's absolutely no capacity in the local police to do anything like that. For us, when we come to things online, like cyber crimes and stuff like that, we deal with big picture stuff that's immediate, like child trafficking. Stuff like that is actually a big problem in this area of the country. So that's the kind of stuff we're dealing with on a daily basis. We wouldn't be able to help you at all with chargebacks. It's just something that's not in our capacity. We wouldn't do it. However, if you wanted to contact your local FBI, perhaps the FBI would actually do something about it. Okay? That's actually what I was told by a police officer. Okay? So I at one point, I probably told that story on a stream publicly. Okay? I'm being accused that I lie. Last night in this interview, oh, you're a liar. That never happened. Because I had a conversation with this detective and he said this and this. I'm like, I don't even know what this person's talking about. I never had that conversation. It's never happened. So what I'm realizing is that basically it's all bullshit. Okay? Like literally, it's bullshit. It's all made up. It's fabricated. It's a fake story. This person didn't talk to anyone. He didn't talk to any officer. I have the information sitting in front of me of the woman officer who I had spoken with when I did this police report. Okay? So I'm thinking in my head, basically all of this could be fake, right? And who knows to what extent anything these people say or do is fake. But here's the concrete evidence, right? So what do they want me to do? They want me to send them the information from the officer so they can contact the officer. And I'm thinking, but you already lied. You already concocted a fake story that can't be corroborated, right? Who can corroborate their story? Nobody. But that's okay. Their story doesn't ever have to be corroborated. Mine does though, right? Because I'm the one being accused of stuff. So you made something up. You talked to someone who I've never spoken with, and I never had a dealing with. All right, I have the real evidence, but if I give you this evidence, you can completely lie again, right? 100%. And who's going to say that you did or didn't? No one can prove it. This is all hearsay nonsense. It always is. That's the point. It always is nonsense. None of this matters. It's all he said, she said nonsense bullshit. So who cares? So I present. Wait a minute. I know they're all lying because here's the evidence. But what can I do to prove my innocence? You can't. Because they'll just say it's a lie. And then what can you do? Right? And that's the problem with all this. And that's why I think nobody cares. Right? No matter what, everyone will just endlessly go in circles. Well, I have this. Well, I have this. Well, they don't corroborate. So who's the liar here? I don't know, and we can't prove it. So then what do we waste our time on this for? Right? And by the way, the idiotic things that they're saying have no bearing on anything and aren't crimes or anything like that, right? This certainly isn't like, oh, Bill committed heinous crimes. He was selling drugs. He robbed a bank. You know what I mean? He had child pornography. He was grooming children. It's none of that. It's, oh, he's irresponsible with his money. You're right. You know, I have been irresponsible with my money. I talked about it numerous times, over and over. Said I was a moron. I've apologized for it. I told you guys, that's not me anymore, right? I'm in a better position now. I've learned. I've improved. So, anyway, here's the deal. All right. I got fooled. That was a waste of time. All of my fans, as you know, they don't care. I know you don't, right? Because I was talking directly to my fan base now. I know you don't care about any of this stuff at all. Okay. I know that. I don't care about any of this stuff. That's why I'm not wasting time on it. I'm talking about it on this podcast, and then we're moving on to play Street Fighter today. This is not the day where Phil talks about this all day. It's not going to be the week, the month. It's just nonsense. And again, it's the same nonsense. Over and over and over. Okay? See, I'm going to say one thing to these idiots in chat. Why don't you just present your bank statements and this, that? I'm not going to show anyone my bank statements, you incredible fucking buffoons. Because then you would see accounts on there and shit that people could use to hurt me. Are you dumb? Why don't you show your bank statements to everyone right now? Just answer that. If there's nothing on a bank statement that could ever be used to hurt you, why don't you just show your bank statement right now on the internet to everyone? Post it up on your Twitter account, right? Because nothing could possibly be used to hurt you, right? What a dumb thing to say. And well, don't post it publicly. Just give it to Steve. To Steve, who is obviously working with detractors and benefits by lying to make me look bad so he can make more content and make money. That's who you want me to present this to. Because this is the problem is there's no neutral party. Get it? There is none. There's people who don't care. And then there's people who care because they financially benefit from me looking bad. Those are the two parties. There is literally no neutral party on the internet. And that's why I don't bother with this shit. There's no point to it, right? There's no crime. There's no investigation. There's nothing here. It's a bunch of drama bullshit that they just keep bringing up. Again, notice it's nothing about today. It's nothing about yesterday. It's nothing about this year. It's nothing about this. Yeah, it's nonsense from 5+ years ago. That has nothing to do with modern day. It's just white noise to everything. Okay. So I don't care. I mean, what I said in the interview stands to today. I don't care about any of this. I'm not going to bother with it. It's all a waste of everyone's time, mostly mine. Okay. And I just don't want to bother with it. All right. Now, we do have to, address the elephant in the room. All right. We do. We all know that Steve, where did he come from? How does he have notoriety? Well, because he's been on Kino Casino. And yes, it's absolutely 100% true that the guys from Kino Casino are the ones who put me in contact with Steve for this interview. Okay? So now the elephant in the room is, well, wait a minute. Hold on a sec. Does that mean that the snaking has happened? Shit, I didn't have it open. Does that mean, let me do that again, that the snaking has finally happened? I should have had that ready and I didn't. Well, let's talk, right? Shall we flesh this out? First of all, is Ashton still in chat? Because he was here a minute ago. Ashton, are you still here? Because I've had a conversation with Ashton. All right. And if he's here, he can corroborate that this conversation happened rather than it just be me saying it. He can back me up here. Is he still in chat? Because all I'm going to do is I'm going to reiterate what we had the conversation about, and he'll confirm that the conversation was real. Okay? That's it. It's all I want to do. Not that it's just me saying it and people will say, oh, you made that up, right? Is he here? Or did he take off? Because he was here before, but I don't know if he's still here. That was a few minutes ago. All right. Well, let me tell you the conversation I had with him, and if he's still here, I'm sure he'll pipe in here. Okay? So, what's up, Jade? How you doing, man? So, the conversation I had with him was, what the hell was that? That was obviously a train wreck, right? That's not what I was told this was going to be at all. I mean, I just read you word for word what I was told it was going to be, and basically, this was set up, not necessarily set up, like basically, Steve reached out to me, because he heard of me from the casino and said he wanted to do the interview. And of course, I talked to Ashton about it previously and stuff. And he said, yeah, do the interview. It'll be good and you'll yada, yada, right? So I had the conversation with Ashton about this, and basically his response is thus, all right? I'm not making this up or exaggerating. He's like, I had no idea that he was going to do that. I knew he was going to ask you questions, but I had absolutely no effing clue that he was going to go to that extent and that he was going to actually have detractors on the show and that he was going to go that heavy in. And yes, that was absolutely a snaking and it went too far and he shouldn't have done it like that. And he basically kind of went rogue and it looks like he did it because he wanted to make some money. Okay? Well, there you go. Asher just said it in chat. He's corroborating what I just said. He says, it's true Steve went into business for himself and he lied to us. Year of the snake. Year of the snake. Well, obviously we all know that this is a truthful statement. The year of the snake. Okay. So, I mean, there you have it. Now, obviously, truth is in the eye of the beholder. That's what they say, correct? That the truth is in the eye of the beholder. That everyone has to make a judgment for themselves on the situation, okay? Personally, all right? Personally, I would tend to believe Ashton, and here's why. Here's why. Here's my rationale, right? We've got a good thing going. We got a good wrestling commentary show going that we both enjoy, right? We like working together and we have plans in the future, stuff that we can do together that's productive, that both of our audiences like, that makes money. So why, in anyone's right mind, would something be set up to treat me like dirt intentionally? You know what I'm saying? That it would ruin that relationship. If there's a good working relationship going, or just getting steam with the wrestling show, right? We're heading towards WrestleMania. We're actually doing good. We actually had a great show this last week. We're looking forward to more. Moving forward, we have other ideas of stuff that we want to do together in the future. So why would you then just shoot that in the foot? It wouldn't make sense. Right? So it's this simple. All right? It's just this simple. You can believe whatever you want, and it's up to you to judge. For me, I tend to believe EPP. In the conversation that we had, I do think that this was Steve going into business for himself, going over the top, extreme, trying to grab that bag and running with it. And I guess we have to see what his actions will be moving forward. Like, is he actually going to continue to make detractor content about me and try to bank on it and try to make a buck? You know what I'm saying? He could. Like I said, that's copy. So not only in that case would he have been copy pasting Kiwi Farms for his entire interview and then taking credit for it, then he would also be copy pasting side scrollers and copying what Stuttering Craig did. So, I mean, that's a double steal job right there. That's a double, complete lack of originality, right? So I guess we'll see what happens there with that. Will he do that or not? I don't know. I don't know the guy. This was why literally first one and only interaction that I'm going to have with this guy, He went, according to PPP, he's gone into business for himself, right? He acted too strongly. It's one thing if you're going to have me on the show, you're going to ask me some tough questions, but then, you're going to be fair. I think we can all believe that it wasn't fair, because it really wasn't an interview, right? It was a screaming match. just regurgitate what Kiwi Farm said a zillion times, right? And then yell at Phil more, move on to the next subject before Phil can even respond. That way he looks guilty. Back him into a corner, make him do a lie detector test, right? None of it made any sense from a logical standpoint. It was just, oh look, give me some attention with Detractors so they'll throw me some money. Now, I'm pretty sure no one thought I was doing a lie detector. Really, no one was ever going to think that I was going to do something like that. That's ludicrous. That's stupid. Why would I do that? Again, it doesn't prove anything anyway. It's not even admissible anywhere. Everyone knows that it's bullshit. So, I tend to err on, well, let me put it this way. I don't err on the side of caution, but for me, all right, I look at a big picture situation and, I believe what Ashton is telling me. If you guys don't, that's your call to judge. But I'm going to go with what he said. And as they say, actions speak louder than words as well, right? It's that simple. So let's see what happens moving forward. But I'm going to say, hey, this is stupid. This is bullshit. It was nonsense. I don't care. It's not going to affect me long term. I know it's not. The problem is now, of course, everyone's going to be talking about it nonstop for weeks. How dumb it way all the detractors that we have in their 3-wing circus with it. And now it's just the same dog and pony show, right? For me, I've been there, done that. Just I'm tired of it. I don't like having to go through it again. So I apologize to anyone. Here we go again. But at least in this case, I'm telling you, I have absolutely no way I would have agreed to anything like that. Right? It was me being outright lied to. Isn't that it happened? As opposed to last time, it was definitely my fault. I agreed to it. I even said that the interview was good and everything. And then after the fact, I got upset with their behavior later. Right? As opposed to this time, this was outright, bullshit. So, anyway. Yeah. So, like I said, all right. Actions speak louder than words, correct? Right? And so let's see what happens moving forward. But I tend to trust and believe, all right? Fair enough? Yeah, Thirsty Tree says, I'm honestly surprised you stuck with Steve for that long. It was bad faith that whole stream. How was that an interview? Based Phil win. Again, it wasn't an interview. Because it started as an interview, the first 20-so minutes. But as soon as he started getting into accusations, and I'm like, all right, let me respond, and I would try. Because the answer wasn't what he wanted, he would just yell over me and then he would move on to something else, right? I'm like, well then, if you're never going to let me talk, then it's not an interview. Why am I even on your stream? I remember he played a 2-minute clip. I was like, you don't have to play the clip. I'm responding already. I could just respond. No, he wants to play this whole clip. The whole thing felt very, very self-aggrandizing. He felt like he was trying to get over, call me a narcissist, but if the whole thing felt very narcissistic. You know what I'm saying? He just kept wanting to be the center of attention and talk. Look at all the work I did, and then he presents another thing he just copied off of Kiwi Farms. Anyway, gave bad vibes. She didn't let you speak. He kept thinking he had you for stuff. He doesn't even matter. He couldn't felt the king. Well, the thing was, he did a captive situation where if I left, he rage quit. If I stayed, well, just don't let him talk. So then what's the point? Literally, that could have been him doing a show without me on it. It would have been exactly the same show because he didn't actually let me contribute anything to it. Every time I tried, it would just talk over me and scream and then go on to something else. So then it's not an interview. It's just a show where you're going to yell at someone and say that they're a liar or whatever. So who cares, right? It's so different from detractor content, except that would never go on a detractor show, which so you was seething, get all this evidence against you, but you weren't biting or seething at all. You totally big dogged him based. What is big? I don't know what this lingo means. I'm too old. I don't understand the lingo of the youngsters. Did I big dong him? How did that take place? I don't know. Sin with a $5 super chat. Just ignore these people. Stop defending yourself. Enjoy your stream and your games. This gets old. It gives them more videos. But I know. And that's the point. You have to understand that the side scrollers thing, that was totally my fault. 100%. Boy, that was a boneheaded decision that I agreed to it. In this case, I never agreed to this. This is something that I was lied to and deceived into doing. And then now I got to deal with this cleanup. I at least had to talk about it for one podcast, right? And then we can move on. So, thankfully, that's the case. I'm not going to keep talking about this. It's just stupid. But I'm 100% in agreement with you. I know this is not the content you want. I know this is, you want me to play games and chill and have fun with games with you. That's the point. Or, do other stuff too. It's not just about games, but you understand it's meaningful use of your time. As opposed to, let's talk about 5-year-old outdated shit that people knew about on Kiwi farms, for half a decade and no one gives two fucks about except detractors because they want content to make money. Yeah. So, Barkey with a $5 super chat. Will never, oh my God, will never be over until we know how much money donos went to WWE champs. We know you spent over $100K. It's so obvious the bank leaks are real. Stop lying. Barkey, thank you for $5, you idiot. Thanks for your money, bummy. I mean, he actually sent me $5 to say that. He said absolutely nothing new. It's the same stuff everyone else has said. Okay. This is just like side scrollers. Makes me so mad. These people say one thing to you and completely go off topic. He did all the research for what? We're still with you, Phil. But no, I disagree. All right. I want people to understand the difference and the expression. I still to this day, all right, even though I do feel like the side scrollers interview was an attempt at a setup and to get what they wanted out of it, I agreed to it. After the interview, I said it was a good one, correct? That's the difference here. If you want to fault the side scrollers for bad behavior, fault them for the fact that after their interview, they literally turned their show into the Dump on Dark Side Phil show to milk my detractors for profits because they couldn't get any profits out of my appearance. Just otherwise, because I didn't give them anything to work with. I gave them no confession that they were looking for, anything like that. Okay? The problem was the after-the-fact behavior. With Steve's situation, literally, the interview was the lie. Get it? The interview was the lie. That is the problem. That the whole premise of the thing was a lie, and then he acted like he did. Okay? So, absolutely, I take the blame for the side scrollers in it. Not them. They should be criticized for their behavior after the fact, but not for the interview. Okay? In this case, it was the interview that was the problem because it wasn't an interview. All right? Let's see here. You are liked by some, hated by some, but you always get a reaction. I think you should lean into that as a larger-than-life persona that people always want to give attention to, like a soap opera or a wrestling character. I don't think you are being ingenuine by doing that. Okay? I mean, the thing is, if you haven't noticed as of late, right, we're having a really good time in my content, and the reason is because I am self-aware about who I am and what people say about me. What was the first thing that I said on the show today? Let's get some contributions. Right after a 3-hour accusatory show where someone yelled at me for asking for contributions. I just did it again anyway because I don't care, right? I don't care about these fucking people. So that's what I mean when I'm sitting here and I'm saying, let's get some contributions. Let's hit the goal. Let's eat Arby's today. People know that doesn't mean that I'm destitute and I needed to pay a bill today or I need to go buy Arby's. It's different. Maybe 5 years ago you did think that, but now not anymore because I'm not saying that anymore. That's where the real disingenuous stuff happened on that interview last night is that's what Steve was saying. He was saying, oh, you still do that. No, I don't. Now everyone knows that I'm doing good. I'm happy that I'm doing good. Look at the improvements because I'm doing good. Let's keep me doing good going so we can continue to have that fun and level of improving, right? People keep saying, take more time off to be with your wife. All right, if I keep doing well, I can do that. I'm going to do that this week. I'm going to take an extra day off because you guys have allowed me to. Through your support. Thank you for that. No, really. Thank you. That's awesome. So what is the problem? The thing is, there is none. There never was. Okay. Shoot, I missed. I missed here. I received a $30 anonymous tip. This person says, here's $30 for discount Kylo Ren's spreadsheet. Keep on keeping up, Phil. Or keep on keeping on, Phil. Well, thank you. No, but no, hold on. That wasn't his spreadsheet. That's the Kiwi Farm spreadsheet. You know, oh wait, you thought that was his spreadsheet? No, he took that right off of Kiwi Farms. That's what I mean, like, you guys don't realize he didn't do any work. Like, everything that he did, he stole off Kiwi Farms. That spreadsheet has been on Kiwi Farms for 5 years. And he's like, well, don't you see the spreadsheet corroborates with the call? Yeah, because someone on Kiwi Farms listened to the call that was recorded and made a spreadsheet out of it. What are you talking about? Like, what is that evidence of anything? Like, anyway. That was an anonymous tipper. $30. Thank you, anonymous $30 tipper. Let's keep going. Let's see here. So, I received a $5 tip. I'm a fan from your first interview that you did with Kino Casino, and now I much prefer your gaming content rather than dipping toes into drama. Did the interview with side-scrollers, and you reacted to your own documentary. You talked to Josh Moon, you even talked to that other guy, it's probably talk about Keem Thar. You have nothing left to answer for. If anyone wants to talk about that stuff again, point them to your content about it and be done with it. I'm sorry that Steve snaked you, I'm now gonna unsub from him. God bless. Listen, you have the right to watch or not watch whatever you want, and I'm certainly not asking anyone to unsub from anyone. That's your own call, like I say. The truth is in the eye of the beholder, so you do what you want, and thank you for your $5 contribution. I received a $3 tip. Genuine question related to last night's interview. This is hilarious because you know someone's going to ask something personal that you know I'm not going to answer, but let's just read it and entertain it. You revealed within the last month or so that you have no savings. So if you're no longer destitute, how are you making so much money yet still living paycheck to paycheck? I don't think you understand what living paycheck to paycheck means. Okay? And I don't think you understand what the term savings mean. Alright? Savings implies that someone has like a savings account that they're funneling money into that they don't touch and that accumulates over time. Or maybe they have investments, say, in some kind of a market that's kind of safe, and so therefore it's considered money that's being saved for a future day or a project or if something bad happens, correct? Living paycheck to paycheck implies that basically you need to make money immediately. Because if you don't have money to do basic things day to day. Okay? So here's the deal. I don't have savings. I don't right now. I want to. Like I told you, that's my plan now, is to try to actually start to save money and have savings again for the first time in 100 years. Okay? So I don't have that yet. I want to work on that. At the same time, I'm not living paycheck to paycheck. I'm making enough between YouTube and Kick and tips and other contributions that I'm good and I got some money in the bank that I can spend on things, when I need to. There are times of the month that are a little bit tighter and times of the month that are a little bit better, a little bit looser, depending on when I'm getting paid and when I have to actually make bigger payments for things. Like, for example, I spent a lot of money in December upgrading my setup. So things actually got really tight. But, I'm not at a situation where, like, for example, let's hit the goal so I can order Arby's. Let's hit the goal because when you hit a goal, the reward is that I order the Arby's so we can film and do a DSP tries. It's not, let's hit the goal so I can afford to order the Arby's. You understand? But I think people are trying to turn it into that, and that's not what it is. I've literally never said that. Right? Never did I say, let's hit the goal because I need the money right now to buy the Arby's. That's not the case. Nor did I say that. People made that up. Okay? So I'm somewhere in the middle. Fair enough, I'm not paycheck to paycheck, but I don't have savings. I would like to get to the point where I have the savings. And that's what I'm working on now. Now that I've upgraded the setup to the point where I don't really need to sink a lot of money into it anymore. That's the next thing, is maybe I could start saving money up. Okay? Okay? So I got a $1.79 tip. Someone says, my name is Sylvester Stollerwone. Oh, Lord. From a passive detractor, credit where it's due. Both the Craig and the Steve interviews were tough. You stood your ground. I respect that. And you do put on a fun show. P.S. I want to get some blood samples from you. Can I send you my blood sample guy to start taking? That's another one. Remember, I said I'm going to install the rotating door on the front of my house, so that'll be next. So we'll have the lie detector, the blood sample. We'll have someone take pictures of my whole house and try to account for every piece of things that I have in here and how much it's worth. Why not, right? Let's keep going. What's next, right? By the way, that's a joke. For those who are kind of slow on the uptake, that's a joke. It's not for real. I'm not welcoming anyone into my home. I live out in a private community. If you show up uninvited, you'll get arrested. Just so you know. Let's see here. What an idiot. Someone tipping and lying, saying that I said that Side Scrollers is not successful and they have a failing podcast. I never said that. I said Side Scrollers was not successful. They did have a failing podcast. Their podcast did completely fail. They had to basically let go of all the staff that they were working with, and then the show completely changed. It became a political show, which is now successful because they grift to idiotic people who like extremist right-wing thoughts. Their Side Scrollers has nothing to do with side-scrolling. The name of the show is about video games, and the show has nothing to do with video games. It's a right-wing grifter show now. That's why it's popular, because right now, right-wing politics are in vogue. So, yeah. But I never said that they're not successful now. I said they were a failure before, which they absolutely were. Well, take a look at their views and everything. The most viewed show they ever had was the one I was on. And then they could never top that. They could never get that back until they became right-wing grifters. It's just a fact. You can't even dispute it. Okay. I received a $5 tip from Mars Inhabitant. Shouldn't you have a sixth sense by now when walking into an E-interview ambush? Shit, I almost overflowed my cup there. Like that, and say thank you for your time? I know what this is, and bow out and not waste hours of your life, instead of worrying about the optics of leaving steadily to your trolls and sticking around for hours on end. Yeah, but here's the thing. Mars Inhabitant, right? Was it a complete waste of my time? Yes, it was. Absolutely. But what actually came out of it? Number one, nothing new was said whatsoever. It was literally a copy-paste regurgitation, okay, of everything that's already been said on Kiwi Farms. To a T. Not even like I said, 100% stolen. Nothing original whatsoever. I've seen the chart. I've heard the look, but to me, what really, does it really matter? Like, I wasn't going to be putting on a stream that then was going to get views and support if I just quit the show, right? So, listen, I said I would do it. I did it. If anything, let's be honest, right? There were 3 people on that show. All right. One guy was screaming at the top of his lungs, losing his control of his voice, acting like a weirdo. Okay. Just regurgitating other people's work, saying it was his, acting like he had done research he didn't do. All right, lying to his audience, okay? And basically was not conducting an interview, was a screaming man. The second person on the show was someone who claimed to be a former retired cop, all right, but operates a detractor channel on YouTube. And openly admitted on the show publicly that they gave money to another detractor by the name of Super Crazy to file a frivolous lawsuit against me that never would have gone anywhere because there's no legal case there, but he was so stupid he gave the guy money anyway. And then there was me. the guy who was supposed to be getting interviewed, trying to actually respond in a rational, calm manner, and couldn't get two words in edgewise. Who looked better out of the three of us? Me. Now, I don't think I'm going to get anything out of that, okay? But because I act rationally and calm, because I came out as the sane person on the call, I'm the only one who really stands to benefit when it comes from a logical perspective. Financially, Steve won. Detractor-wise, Broside Phil won because he's the first detractor who actually had a direct conversation with, right? But when it actually comes to intelligent people, I'm the one who won that because I didn't look like a nut job, right? If I just jumped, the moment he starts talking about the stupid bank leaks or whatever, I'm out of here. All you would hear is, Phil Rage Quit, Phil Lab, Phil Biz, which is stupid, right? So, it's all good. And it's not it really isn't a big deal. If anything now, I think you understand that I'm probably not doing interviews anymore, right? Like, I mean, there's a point till you get to it. It's like, what's the point? You know, again, this was actually the first time I was fooled. Because like I said, the last time, I agreed to it. You know, I got myself into that arena, so the person to blame is me. In this case, it was absolutely 100% disingenuous lies that got me into this situation. And again, I'm taking Ashton at his word here. What he's saying that this was, not planned, and they definitely didn't think that this was going to happen or go this way. That wasn't the original plan whatsoever. You know, they thought it was going to be like a real interview and didn't know it was going to be an attack session with detractors and the like. So, you know. So there you go. Michael, with a $1.25 tip, says, I remember during the interview, I asked you for the name. Wait, what? I remembered during the interview, he asked you for the name of the barber shop who cut your hair. What are you talking about? Oh. Thanks for the $1 tip. I have no idea what that means at all. Very confused. It wasn't phrased right, so I can't really read it to understand what he's saying. I don't know if he's asking, did I answer? Did he answer? Did who answer? I have no idea. I can't read it. It's not English. I received a $4.98 tip. Let's see. In my opinion, you should stop having interviews where your past is the main focus. Everything has been talked about to death at this point. There's no reason to keep having the same mindless conversation. All of us who support you have heard this a million times, and we don't care. Me, for example, I just came back from home, and I watched the podcast to relax, and I may donate from time to time because I enjoy your show, not because I feel bad because of your financial situation. Yesterday's interview benefited no one. This guy acted like he exposed the world's biggest scammer when all he did was represent all the things that your detractors have been talking about for close to a decade now. A completely worthless show, in my opinion. If you have any more appearances on other shows in the future, you should be a part of the show like you did with the casino during the election. Not be on a show that your past is the main focus once again. Everyone knows about it by now, and people that support you don't care. They do. 100% in agreement. I want to be able to be a part of discussions that aren't about me. Can I be very honest with everyone? I don't really think I'm that interesting. Right? I just don't think I'm the most interesting dude. Right? I make gaming content. I hang out with a small audience. We have a good time. They support me. It works. But I don't really think that I'm that big of a deal. Like, I would love to go and be on a show. We talk about various topics that have nothing to do with me, but I can maybe weigh in. Whether it's current events, whether it is politics, whether it's pop culture, whether it's, whatever it may be. Maybe, a show about, I don't know, talking about, like, for example, how woke culture is failing now because they went so far to the left that the entire world went right. But it doesn't always have to be about that. That could be an interesting topic. Like, for example, when I was doing the politics show, what was one of those popular things I did? I criticized the Snow White trailer from Disney. Or I called out the Black Lives Matter activist on her bullshit. That was the stuff that people liked about the show. It wasn't me necessarily covering stories. It was me talking about moments that could be interesting and I can weigh in on in a good way. right? Like, I think those are the kind of things that can work, right? But I'm not saying that that's necessarily the end all be all either. You know what I'm saying? I have a tremendous amount of knowledge on video games. I have a tremendous amount of knowledge on being a creator. I'm working on YouTube, right? Like, I've been doing this for 16 years. Can you name another person who's been doing it for 16 years and been through as many iterations, trials, tribulations, changes, and things that I have? But does anyone ever ask me about it? That was the preface of the interview yesterday. What I read earlier, that's what Steve said it was going to be. Now I was like, oh, that could be a really interesting interview. Talking about how surviving on YouTube, how you could do it, and what I went through and all those things. You know what I'm saying? That's what I wanted. So, yeah, that'd be great to be able to chime in on those topics. We could talk about Street Fighter, the history of fighting games, the grassroots community coming up in it, what it was like back in the day. I am an untapped source of knowledge, but every time someone wants to talk about me, they want to do the easy thing. They want to say, hey, let's talk about drama from 5 to 10 years ago. Act like it happens today to milk it for money from your brain-dead detractors. That's it. Like, every person does this now. It's like such a waste of time, right? For everyone. There's no productive thing there. It's a waste of everyone's time. So that's the kind of stuff I would like to do, right? I don't want to be doing interviews about me anymore. There's no point. You know, there's just no fucking point. Okay. Let's see here. So I got a $5 tip. Few thoughts on the subject, or a few thoughts on the subject. I forgot to put A, okay? The perverse manner in which they perpetuate the hate and giving a platform for this kind of hateful community, in my opinion, is a worse outcome than you becoming irrelevant and phasing into obscureness. This hate community, which maybe is growing, is creating more hatred in society, and it's a symptom of the times. The sick shit they have on their channels daily, talking about you, how you should die, bad things happen to your family. I mean, that's actively psychotic behavior, and this shit is enabled by internet, which is known to give edge to anonymous trolls, and also actual monetization of this kind of crap. Yeah. I literally can't see a thing that is to counter anything you just say. You know, should YouTube allow monetization of hate? Of course not. But they do, unless you sue. Like I say, if I hit the lotto, like let's say I hit the lotto and I was, I had hundreds of millions of dollars, I could shut down these channels, but does it really? Normal person can't do that. There should be no monetization of hate content on YouTube, period. This should have been ended many years ago, but it wasn't. And because of that, you now have an entire culture of people who just think it's okay to wish others harm and then you bake bank on it. It's pretty fucked, in my opinion. It really is. I received a $5 tip. Interest in lolcow culture is about self-discovery and denial of the depravity of the culture we built together. One saying goes, beware of fighting monsters lest you become one. You could argue that people hating you are reflecting on the hateful nature of our own society and our inability to reform ourselves to be better or to do better. Hence you have become one of the scapegoats and the sacrificial lamb to wash ourselves from our own inadequacy. There you go. I mean, I've never understood lolcow culture because I don't care about it. I don't like it. Like, for example, can we be honest? Like, who were the original lolcows before they were internet lolcows? Reality TV celebrities, right? The people who are on The Real World. Okay? The guys on Jackass. The Kardashians, for God's sakes. Right? And that weird reality TV culture then perpetuated that other people wanted to put themselves out there as celebrity stars, but they didn't have the avenue to do it on TV, so they started doing it on the internet. But then what happens is when you put yourself in the spotlight, you can then deride those people and make jokes of them and make fun of them and turn them into lolcows, right? But I just don't care about that. I never did. I'm never going to. You're never going to see me on Lolcow Live, right? Having my chest shaved, having someone having pick up trash, drink piss water out of a bottle, being buried alive. going to a Democratic rally wearing a MAGA hat. You're never going to see me pulling stunts, right? I don't care about that stuff. Those are people who are living and banking on that, right? I guess trying to make the best of it. For me, I don't care. I'm far above it. I want to make meaningful content for intelligent people. It's just hard to find some. But haha, you know what I'm saying? It sure seems to me like in our modern world, in this modern internet, pretty hard to find people with brains that function properly. There's a lot more people who just want to be stupid. And I guess you can't really help that. That's just a symptom of society, right? The more people there are, the dumber they get. And that's what's happened, is people just sit on the internet all day and want to dump on these people. Dump, dump, dump. For what? You're right, it is a symptom of the society. And society is degraded to the point where this is now entertainment and this is acceptable behavior in our culture. It's really bizarre. And it really is. Okay. You remember the Nazi hat that you wore and you yelled, "Band, band, band"? I never had a Nazi hat. I had was supposed to be a replica military hat. It doesn't have any Nazi stuff on it whatsoever. All right, it doesn't. Some people have photoshopped it on there, but it doesn't have any Nazi stuff on it at all. I don't know why yelling "banned," why you think that would be representative of Nazis. It didn't ban anything. They did way worse than that. But no, I'm not going to be wearing the hat or doing anything. Okay. I received a $2 tip. The myth of DSP has become bigger than the man. You have become a legend, albeit a controversial one. People are engaging with your mythos, not you. I'm serious. Your online persona is something that lives a separate life and people interact with your projection. I know. But the thing is, I don't create the projection. The detractors did. They have created this persona. And then people jump into it and obsess about it. But then some people will come to the stream and be like, wait, what? Like some people actually believe the other day, I was begging people for money saying I need this to afford Arby's for dinner. That literally never happened. But they believe that. They actually think that's what happened. Because the detractors will say, Phil begged for money for Arby's 42 times during the stream. Even though that's not what happened. If you watch the stream in context, you very much know that's not what happened. But that's what they'll say, so that's the mythos. That's the character they've created, right? So thank you for the $2 tip. These are actually quite insightful things that a couple of people have been saying in these tips, and I appreciate that. The Detractors are sad that a $2 super chat and says, the ex-cop fumbled with false information about you. Well, again, here's the thing. This is what confuses me. Was I really supposed to believe that? Number one, am I supposed to believe that he's really an ex-cop? Even if he's an ex-cop, why does that make him reputable? The best part about that conversation, right, was that I said, hey, here's the real person that I talked to at the department. It was a woman, not who you're talking about. And he goes, well, give me the information. I'll call them and talk. And I said, but what's to stop them from lying? Oh, well, you just don't understand how truthful and reputable cops are. But why? Why are you insane? Like, just think about it this way. Right now, if someone were to call me and said, hey, I had a random conversation with you 5 years ago. Do you remember what you said? I would say one of two things. I would say, no, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. Or I would be like, oh, yeah, I totally remember, and I would bullshit. Right? There's no way that I would randomly remember a 5-year-old conversation that I had with anyone. To be frank with you, unless it was like a super important conversation. Yeah, especially if it's a situation where, for example, what you said could actually get you into trouble if it were publicly relayed that you actually said that. So, do you really believe that someone is going to just, oh yeah, someone called me and said 5 years ago, you said this, did you say it? Let me think. If I admit that I said it, I'll get in trouble. If I lie, or I say I don't remember, I'll be in the clear. But I'm a cop, so I absolutely have to do this thing that'll get me into trouble. Get the fuck out of here. Were you born yesterday? I know you were, if you believe that shit. Human nature is self-preservation. The human is gonna do what they need to do to survive and get by 99% of the time. In very rare cases where a human would maybe do the thing for the other person, a person who did a one-off conversation with someone who they don't know, have no obligation to. no ties to, no honor to. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna say, what the hell are you talking about? Right? What in the holy hell are you talking about, man? That was the most stupid thing I'd ever heard anyone say. Oh, just because they're a cop, they're absolutely gonna tell me and be true. That was what a moron. Anyway. I don't know what else you're talking about, Detractors, or sadly. I don't know specifically what you're referencing that you think that Bro Side Phil lied about. Because I don't know Bro Side Phil. I don't know what content he makes. Look, I literally mean that. I don't know my Detractors at all. The few that I've had dealings with, like, Doody streams, I literally only knew about Doody streams, maybe 1 or 2 streams before when I started talking about him in the summer. If you didn't notice, I don't really care about him now. I don't watch what he does or anything. I don't give a shit about these people, you know? Okay, hold on. Keep going. We got tips coming in. And then I gotta check Kick. I haven't checked Kick in a while. Another tip is coming, so I guess this podcast is gonna keep going. Let's see here. And a $1.25 tip from Walrus Nipples. When he asked you about bank leaks and wants to know where you get your haircut, I was like, what the fuck? If you told him where you get your haircut, your trolls would harass him. No, that's absolutely true. 1,000,000%. That's what you gotta understand is, and I've learned this over time, that sadly my detractors are so crazy unhinged that they will do anything they possibly can, even if it makes no sense. Okay? If I mention a random business that I visited today, they would probably contact the business. To what end, I don't know, but they would. I'm serious. Like to this day, they do insane, over-the-top, inexplicable things that are just not rational, but they do them anyway. So anything that I'd mention on a stream, a place I've been, a person I've talked to, a business that I've visited or frequented or put money into, they will do something to harass them. Do you get it? So there's no way that I would ever mention where I go or what I do, right? Why would I put that on anyone? Would I say that my detractors are a black cloud that follow me around? That's a literal statement. Like, anywhere I go, anything I say and do, if I tell you about it, the detractors follow like a black cloud behind me and go there and rain on it. I have relatives who have nothing to do with me who have been harassed. I have friends from my past who I don't mention who have been harassed. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys have no clue. I don't talk about it, because when you give attention to that behavior, it propagates more of that behavior. You guys, of all the stories that I've told you over the years, you probably know about 30% of the stuff that's happened to me, my family and friends and all of that. Seriously, you know about a third of it. There's 2/3 of the stuff that's so extreme and so stupid that I would never mention it to you, because I wouldn't want people to have that happen to them. I wouldn't even want to let you guys know what my detractors have done, because I don't want other people to get ideas of things they could do to other people. But understand? Okay, let's keep going. Wow. I gotta do another currency conversion. Mulciber. Nah, okay. This is, British pounds. So Mulciber did a £15, 27 pence tip, which is the equivalent of $19.22. Excuse me. And, let's do an animation. And, let's add that and let's see what Mulciber has to say. Kicks. So this would have been 165. Shit, I can't type today either. I really can't. Alright, so, and by the way, we finally hit the goal, but let's read Mulciber's message first, and respond to it, and then we'll celebrate, okay? Thank you guys for your support this morning. However, I will say this. Alright, we're having a good podcast. It's a nice decompression. You notice how calm I am? We're just having a nice decompression. This is the opposite of the side-scroller situation. I'm Emrys, I can't on. I'm actually not even upset at all anymore. Like I said, I've been to this rodeo. I know how it goes. I just don't care. To be honest, I would have much rather just had a normal podcast today and then got into Street Fighter. As you see, where it's taking us forever to get to Street Fighter, and there's nothing I can do about that. I have to keep addressing contributions. I have to keep shouting them out. We have to do this. It's what's fair is fair, right? I'm going to give, thanks for everyone for supporting my content. But as you can see, this is the funny thing. People are like, well, didn't you benefit? Don't you make bang? Well, I'm hitting my goal for the stream. My normal goal that I would have hit anyway, I guess. But you see what I mean? Did people rush to my stream today with PD bucks and open their wallets and flood me with thousands of dollars of contributions? No. Do you want to know why? Because people only flood you with contributions when there's drama. If I was sitting here, okay, actually like being nasty to someone, I'd probably make more money, but that's not who I am. Like if I just sat here ragging on someone right now, doing a drama stream, hating on someone, what a scumbag, what this and that, I'd be making way more money. But I don't want to do that at all. When this shit happens, when people treat me like crap, I don't get flooded in PD box and attention. It doesn't benefit me. That's the idea. Some people are like, oh, you should have been grateful you went on that show. It gave you more attention. No, I'm not grateful. It was a waste of my time. It really was. It was a huge waste of my time. I could have been doing better, more productive stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not making bank on this at all. It's definitely a big miscalculation. If anyone thinks that this kind of toxic stuff ever benefits me, it doesn't. Myself and my community have had enough of it. And we just want to be left alone. We really do. So, anyway, Mulciber says, let me get this straight. The dude took notes that you buy at a certain shop or cut your hair at a certain barber with info that's public from your own streams. Use that nugget of truth to embellish a spreadsheet with tons of financial data, add a shitload of false info in order to force a response from you. Use that info that was already public in a podcast in order to render credibility to their own theories. Next time someone asks you about your finances, politely ask them for 1 year of finances in a spreadsheet in return, you both can compare, just so you're both on equal terms. I can't believe the audacity and arrogance you must have to believe you're entitled to know or question someone's finances. It's none of your business, sir. Yeah, this is just the funniest part about it, all right? In a nutshell, everyone clip this one, all right? Seriously, what I'm about to say, this should be a clip taken out of this podcast, if anything, all right? What time are we at? 2.5 hours, and we're still going. Jesus. Well, actually, no, the podcast is 2 hours, my bad. 2 hours, 4 minutes. So this is the clip you should take out of this, right? I'm being told it would be unreasonable to expect that someone watched enough of my content to know things such as the days that I got a haircut, the day that I ate a certain kind of food, the day that I did this, did that, spent this, spent that, somehow fabricated a fake call sounding like it's a bank, saying all of this, and that someone would transfer that data into a spreadsheet and this would be incriminating. I'm supposed to believe that that's ridiculous to think that that would be fabricating, okay? That's going too far. Who the hell would do that? Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, someone created a search engine called PigPigGo that literally searches every piece of content I've ever done for keywords. So literally right now, you could say, how many times did he ever say the word snort? And it'll tell you the specific videos and timestamps. You believe me? No, you think that's ludicrous. That's insane that someone would do that. It's real. You go find it right now. Okay? Let me move on to the next one. 2 years ago, someone was working at Comcast, my internet service provider, okay? And they were actually going into my modem without my permission. And they were changing all the settings, turning on my wireless network public for my neighbors to see, and naming the network things like Phil is a pig, his wife is fat and a slob, Phil is a pedophile, Phil does this, Phil does that. So all my neighbors are seeing this in my neighborhood. Okay? Then they would reset my modem repeatedly during streams so I couldn't stream and make money. Before you say, well, that's ridiculous. No one would ever do that. That's not believable. It happened. It's documented. The person posted it on Kiwi Farms and admitted to it. Bully. Okay? We can keep going. Want to keep going? There was a couple in Europe who were actually creating a catfishing ring. They were creating fake social media accounts, pretending like they were escorts that were going all over the world. And what they were doing was creating these fabricated stories based on what I was saying on my streams. So while I was actually having a nice weekend with my now wife, saying, oh, my wife made me some brownies this weekend. Well, then I said, my girlfriend made me some brownies this weekend. It would actually say, oh, I made Phil the brownies, and here's the recipe, and here's the evidence that I was at Phil's house. And then they would make this giant network of fake social network stuff up and all of that. And you might say, well, wait a minute, that's bullshit. Oh, no, it happened. It's all been proven. I was actually some of my detractors on QE farms who found it out and found the whole thing and basically exposed them to the internet. Their whole plot was they were eventually gonna blackmail me for money to get them to shut up. And they never got to that point because I was ignoring them. Like, they were actually trying to contact me and I was ignoring their messages. So they never got to extorting me. Okay. But you want to keep going? Okay, let's keep going. Keep clipping this. So I had a moderator. All right. Their name was Marle, Marle. They said that they were a woman, all right, and that they had a job and they had a life and they befriended my community. They were a watcher of my content for about 8 months to a year. They were a very positive person in my community who was nice and interacted with everyone on my streams constantly in a very positive way. They befriended so many people that then they offered to become a moderator and I made them a moderator. Okay. They then were a moderator for over a year, or around a year, I want to say. Okay. They literally spent, I'm not kidding you, thousands of hours talking with my other moderators and community members, building a fake persona up of who they were and all this. It was all a lie. It was actually a detractor of mine catfishing everyone. Because their master plan was that one day they were going to set up commands with my bots on Twitch that they were all going to say racist terms. So basically, I would go on stream and my bot would start saying the N-word and everything, and this would get me permanently banned from Twitch. And the only way that we caught it was that one of my other moderators had access to my bot and saw that all the commands had been changed overnight, alerted me to it. We were able to change all the commands back before that was put into effect, and the person got banned and removed a community, and then they exposed who they really were. Okay? So, if you're wondering why I'm saying all of this stuff, it's because the idea that someone would fabricate a fake phone call, would create all this information based off of things I've already said publicly, create fake transactions in there, and then make a spreadsheet off of it, actually isn't as far-fetched as most of the stuff I just told you, but everything I just told you is true, and is actually factually documented on the internet right now. So why would you not believe the next thing? But that's the problem. There's no money in that. There's no money in believing that people are constantly lying about Dark Side Phil. The money is in that all of it is true, so we can make fun of Phil constantly and say he's an awful person and make this toxic content that's all defamatory and bullshit, but monetize it so we can make bank. So that's why Steve did what he did, because he wanted to make bank and make a quick paycheck. That's simple. There's no money in debunking. There's money in saying someone's awful. So there you go. Okay. I think we can all agree that, one, none of these idiots actually care about clearing your name. They only want to pump out as much content about you as possible. I will absolutely agree with that. Correct. That was the biggest joke about what Stuttering Craig was saying 2 years ago. Oh, we just wanted to do what's best for you. No. You wanted to do what was best for you. That's why you were planning on this to be your big breakout moment where you would get attention for yourselves and be able to do content based on drama, and it didn't work. So then you had to milk it for months, slandering me and shit. Like, you did what was best for you, not for me. If it was what was for best for me, your actions would have been very, very different after the fact. So you're a lie. Now, none of these people care about me. They care about themselves. Okay? Number two, you can do every single thing asked of you, and the detractor universe would keep going. These people have monetized hating on DSP. You cannot win with these people because they need the hate DSP meme to continue on forever. You're right. It doesn't matter what I say or do. They don't care. They move the goalpost. Even in cases that, like, for example, oh, well, if you really had your bank account compromised, right? Well, then your bank should have filed a police report. Well, I don't know if they did or not because I never looked for that, but I did have my bank account compromised. I do have a different bank account now, completely separate, completely different kind of bank account too. And I had to go do all these hoops to get that set up. It put me into big financial problems where I owed money to my tax attorney because he had to basically do all this work to fix issues with the IRS because I couldn't pay them because I didn't have money because my money was all on hold. Okay? But, Phil, there's no police report. So what do you want me to do about that? Do I work for the bank? How is that evidence of anything? So someone else didn't do their job, but somehow that's evidence that I'm lying? Like, what are you talking about? Even when I present, here's the evidence, I actually have the name of the officer involved, right? Well, how would that be evidence of anything? Because they could just lie about it and say they called and the officer said this or that. So none of it means anything. They don't care about proving anything. You're right. They just care about making more content. They wanted me to send them documents, so now they can make more content with the documents. It's all it is. They want content, 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 money, money, money. Greed. Overwhelming greed. What's more greedy? Me saying to you guys, let's hit the goals and have some fun. Let's have a fun marathon. Let's eat some Arby's and be silly about eating a burger. I'll make funny faces when I do it and you'll get a good laugh out of it. Is that worse? Or is it worse to say, let's completely lie and defame and slander and destroy the reputation of someone on the internet while we're ranking in thousands of dollars a day doing it? I would think that one might be slightly more harmful than the other. Maybe that's because I have a logical thinking brain. Okay. Let's see, I got a $2 tip. Getting real tired of detractors, especially the ones in your chat saying how they're not jealous of you. But when I go into the detractor discords on a burner, the majority of the time they're crying how you make money playing games and they work jobs that they hate, or how their gaming channel is so much better, but it's not fair that their channel failed. Sorry if this was too long. No, that was not too long at all. Oh, I know. And by the way, the funny part about it is some of them say things like, well, I work 2 jobs, I work 3 jobs, and I bust my ass above a, yeah, so you're jealous. So you're jealous that I get to sit here all day entertaining people, having a good time, and I get paid for it, doing what I love, and you have to sit at your miserable job that you hate to make a living. I get it. You're jealous. That's why you hate me, right? That's why. I get it. But then they want to admit that because they're hypocrites. They want to say one thing but do another. They want to, I'd never admit that. They're full of crap. Okay. I received another £15.27 tip, which we did the math on, and it was $19. That's right. So it's another $19 tip from Mulciber. Or $191. $191. Yes. Play another animation here. Sorry, guys, that I'm not on top of the animations and everything today. A lot to tackle here. Thanks, Mulciber. He says, as a viewer and a supporter, trust me, I know someone that I tip, be it you or any other streamer, are not going to open a hospital for children with my $20. In fact, I'm happy to hear that you had a nice hefty meal that made you happy. One of our oldest and forgotten traditions is to share food and drink. Because I can't send it directly to you, money is the next best thing. So on behalf of a supporter, as long as you don't do bad things with it, enjoy. I hope that this helps you to pump out more games. And on a footnote, have you noticed how the most worried people about your finances are the people that never contribute to your finances? In nature, you have scroungers. On the internet, you have detractors. Correct? Again, and the people who complain about my content. How many people said, we don't like DSP tries it, change it to something different? So I did. And what happened? The views plummeted and nobody cared because they wanted DSP tries it. That's the point. How's my neck feeling now? It hurts, but it's not as bad. It is feeling a little better. So I guess whatever I did to wrench it, it is alleviating a bit, but it does hurt. Okay. So there you Mulciber. Let's keep going. I still have more to shout out. Let's see here. Dollar Tubers is the dude interviewing you yesterday, had 100 super chats after the interview. So I'm guessing you made it easy, 500, maybe 1,000. That's probably, he probably made about $1,000. Because you gotta understand, it's not just that. There were probably memberships. He's also on Kick. There were probably, shit. There were probably, Kick subs as well, right? It was probably everything. It was at the whole 9 yards, right? So I'm sure he made a cool grand, which is probably the most the guy's ever made in any of his content. That's like side scrollers where they made all that money and then they lied about it. So they made like nothing, and then a year later you got Craig crying about it. Said he wants to donate it to charity. It's like, gee, pathetic. Anyway, I got $1 tip. Definitely a lot of haters think shitty of you because their circumstances are so much less than yours. Be happy you're more successful than most of the haters. Guys, again, if you want to really talk about what the story is, it's the turnaround. I went from rags to riches to going bankrupt to now being good again. What a roller coaster ride my life has been. It's been up and down since I've been a content creator. That's the story, right? Like, I've been on both ends here of the experience, and it's pretty wild that I'm still here, and now today things have turned around the way that they have, and I have people who like me and have my back. And here's the other funny part about all of this too. The big detractor shtick is that Phil only has like 4 people who support him. Really? What about this morning? Right? Do you see maybe more than 4 people around today supporting me? Just saying, you know, because it's not true. The narrative is there are some big people that support in big ways, but they're not here every day, and they're not the person who 100%, support me. It's people who come from all walks of life, and people come from all places all around the world, and they all watch me for different reasons. Some people like the podcast. Some people just like hanging out with me no matter what I do. Some people like certain games. Some people like this or like that, and they come and they contribute to what they like. It's not 2 people doing it. It's ridiculous. Not everyone is OIC or ICS or whatever. Orange Sakai hasn't been around since Sunday, right? And to be honest, with the way that Ashton felted him on Smart Guys on Tuesday night, I don't know if he'll ever come back, because that was a pretty bad felting that he got. Be honest here, okay? But yeah, like, that's what I mean. It's not one person. This whole week was I destitute because Orange Sakai wasn't around, right? Has my empire fallen because there were no ginormous tips from NDO or well, first of all, Only Iced Coffee hasn't even been around in years. Serious at me, not like I rarely see them when they come by, they renew their sub, and that's it. So, anyway, I don't even know why we're talking about that. Alright, I think I might be done with Super Chat. Or, excuse me, done with tips. I can go back to the YouTube side now. So it was Sin popping their membership message, but it's not actually a new membership. Says, somehow you made this boring drama a fun stream. GG. Well, thank you. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Alright? I feel like if I sat here and I cried or I screamed and raged, it would have been lol cow content. But instead, because I very calmly addressed everything, ended up being pretty good, So let's see. Carl Philip Gambler with a $10 super chat. You handled the ambush interview really well. I looked up the claim that they made about you begging for groceries this weekend. I can't find it. Super weird. Definitely understand why you don't care. Yeah, dude, that's ludicrous. I haven't asked for money for food or for mortgage stuff for years. That was years ago. That I was living paycheck to paycheck, and I was like, guys, please tip me, because if you don't tip me, I can't afford stuff. That was a long time ago. But they act like it was yesterday. It's not happening anymore. That's the thing. That's the other problem with these people. They will never acknowledge improvement. They'll criticize you for something and say you're bad because you did it. So you don't do it anymore and you change for the better, but then they'll still act like you're doing it. Like, wait, what? Right? Why? Just think of it this way. Why on earth would anyone ever bring up the Dead Space 2 demo stream that got me banned from Blip TV in 2010 in the year of 2025? It is 15 whole years later, and they bring it up as if it's pertinent to today. Why would someone do that? Have I said anything at all like that or acted like that at any point in recent memory? Hell, even in the last 10 years, right? It's not pertinent. It's stupid. You know what I'm saying? It's just not pertinent to anything of who I am today, but they act like it is. They don't let go of the past. They hold on to it. It's like they're clutching at their pearls, because the moment they drop their pearls, they don't have anything on me. Things have changed. I'm definitely a better person and a better creator now. You know what I was saying? Okay. Now we gotta look at I'm finally gonna look at the kick side. Pip actually says they talk at you and not to you. That the Detractor gave law enforcement a bad name, and Steve got too excited, spurging out like an immature. Nobody left there saying, look at shit. No, I'm serious. When I said this, right, what did I say? I said, you don't understand that what you're doing right now with your show is very bad for you. You're never going to get another guest. Because what guest in their right mind is going to come on your show when it looks like at any moment you could ambush them, and then you're just going to yell at them for 3 hours instead of it being, come on the show, have a real conversation. You know what I'm saying? You're killing your show for short-term profits, and that's not a good idea at all, right? So, but I don't know if he'll take that to heart or not. Like, he was just way too loud. He was screaming too much. He was talking over me. He was not being a good host at all. You could, like, if anything, the side scrollers interview actually made them look good. In my opinion, if you watch that interview, they look like good hosts, okay? So that probably set them up for some future level of success in some ways. That podcast last night, that was a shit show. That was like, again, you're destroying your own show and reputation for short-term profits. I don't get that.
Thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you on the next one.
Viewers laughing, can't stand still. DSP Zest brings a thrill.